And welcome back, Fourth and Long fans. It's your footy correspondent, Coach Donnie Hess here, back with another chat. And ladies and gentlemen, not only do I like to talk to AFLW players, but I thought let's find some state league players. And conveniently enough, through a few Twitter connections, I found a SANFLW player who's decided to come and have a chat. So let's meet her, Miss Allie Ferrall. Allie, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks, Donnie. Thanks for having me.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So let's jump right into it. I know this is a footy podcast, but I like kind of knowing just a little bit about the person that I'm talking to outside of the game of footy, just to kind of know who you are. So a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, well, obviously, I'm very passionate about my footy, but that is also all sports. So I love watching the cricket and going out to a few games. And I also am a mad sprint car fan, so Speedway. So I've been to America actually and traveled around and followed the Speedway over there. So that's something I'm really passionate about. And I met my husband at the Speedway, which is pretty cool. So he works on sprint cars. So that's a massive passion of mine. But also, I have a big family. So I love just spending time with my family and getting out and about, going to the beach and that kind of thing with them.
Awesome, awesome. So let's jump right into it. Let's go back into the recesses of your brain. You've had footy involved in your life, being an SA girl, footy involved in most of your life. Can you remember your earliest footballing memory?
Yeah, it's a pretty easy one. My brother, he actually used to play for North Adelaide Football Club, so they're a rival club of Norwood in the sample. So he played all his juniors through there and came up through the junior development teams. So I just remember going out and watching him play, but kicking the footy like after the game with him and my sisters and just running around at Prospect Oval. So, and that smell of deep heat, it always just reminds me of going to my brother's games.
Fantastic. That's awesome. It's interesting to hear you say deep heat because I'm so used to over here in the States, we call it icy hot. So it's like I have to catch
I
myself
see.
sometimes. I'm like, what is she?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's what she's talking about. So it's always
Yeah.
fun. The Aussie vernacular, absolutely love it. So let's jump into it. You're still an active footy player. What's your favorite part about playing the game?
Um, there's lots of things, but I think it is obviously the mateship and camaraderie. That's the my most favorite thing. But I also just love when you're out there playing the game, that's all that you're thinking about. And you're just so focused on doing the best job possible for your team. And it's like my type of meditation. So I think that those two things, that mateship, but also just, being able to just go out there and nothing else matters except for doing the best job possible.
Awesome. Yeah, I absolutely love it. It's one of the things that I've found playing footy over here and now coaching is the mateship in footy. It's insane how much you bond because of everything that you kind of go through. So I'm gonna let you humble
Yeah.
brag.
And I
I'm gonna
think,
let you humble brag here because I saw this on. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
oh, I was going to say, I think, like I've played other sports, but there's nothing else that compares to your footy mates. They're just such great people and team players, and they just make you want to go back. Like even at training, it's hot. Um, you're getting your butt kicked, but um, you just get around each other, and it's just the best. I love it.
Awesome. 100% agree. I know this next question is funny because I know this because I follow you on Twitter and it's very obvious from your photo. What is your club that you support, and how did an SA girl find this club as her team to support?
Yeah, look, I am mad's probably not even the word. Geelong supporter. My dad, he just gave me no choice as a kid. Like, my veins were like I was born with blue and white in my veins and blood. Like it's just, I love them. And my dad, I got to go to the grand final this year with him and hugged him as the siren went, which was something I'll never forget. So yeah, like I'm a Mad Cats fan and have been since I was a little girl. So yeah.
Awesome, awesome. So dad was the reason you were a Cats fan. Did any of
Yeah,
did any of your siblings or anybody else in your family support another club? And how's the banter if they do?
it's pretty funny actually. My dad, like when I went to the grand final this year, he was like bragging to all the other Cats fans. He's got um 7 kids, so I'm like I said, from a big family. Um, and the ones that follow football are all Geelong supporters, so he thinks he's done pretty well. Um, and then my other siblings, they're just not really like us. They're not mad about their sport, so yeah, he's done well. We're all Cat supporters, so
Well, that's convenient. And the funny thing is you're talking to a nice Swan supporter. But one thing I got to give it was the Cats' day at the
oh
grand
yeah,
final. There's no I'm not a salty Swans fans. I'm not making excuses. Plain and simply, Cats were just too good on the day.
they
I
were.
have plenty of Cats supporters who I know quite well, and I told all of them, I said, "You guys were the better team. Congratulations. I'm happy for you." So you
Mm.
will get no ill will from me. It'll be very very
Thanks.
interesting. So I love asking this question because I think it's fascinating, especially with Geelong being such a great club with so many great players. Do you have a favorite player of the past, and do you have a favorite current player on the Cats list?
Yeah, absolutely. I my number one player ever is Jimmy Bartell. I just loved the way he played. He's such a tough footballer, but also just incredible skills and read the play so well. So just always put himself in the right spots. And um, yeah, he's my favourite pass player. But Corey Enright is a close second, very close second. I think, especially because that's the position I've played for most of my footy. So I kind of base my game off of how he plays. And now my current favourite player is Tom Stewart, and he's quite similar to how Corey Enright used to play as well. So yeah, he just moves so well and reads the play so well, and um, I think he's the best in the game at the moment for how he comes off of his player and can intercept mark. And yeah,
Hard to argue you haven't picked some really really good players there. So I will not argue with you at all. Some great taste in players there. So let's go from fan now to player. Let's put your player hat on. And I have to ask, how did you end up playing footy at Norwood?
so my husband, he's a mad Norwood fan, and when we first started dating, it was in when they went 3 in a row, um, uh, back in 2014. So I think it started 2012, 13, 14. They won 3 flags in a row. And we started dating in 2011. So I jumped on at the perfect time because I was still, at the time, I was a North Adelaide fan because of my brother, but he had played for them for years. Um, so yeah, I was converted pretty easy because I was just going to all the Norwood games with him, and I fell in love with the club and watching the boys play. So when the SANFLW started, it was kind of a no-brainer. Steve Simons, who is now the coach at Collingwood, he was my first coach at Norwood, and he got in contact with me actually when I was on my honeymoon in America, and that's when I signed for Norwood, and yeah, I was really happy.
Fantastic. And I forgot to put this in. I haven't had a chance to check. What position do you play and kind of what would you say your style is?
Yeah, like I kind of said, I think I play most like Corey Enright, Tom Stewart, so off the half back. Um, I love to intercept mark, and you know, I think I can read the play quite well, so I do come off my player a lot and try and be like that attacking defender. Um, but then my coaches have also had a lot of faith in me to kind of do a lockdown job sometimes as well on some stronger players, some strong forwards that I've had to match up on too, so I can do that as well.
Fantastic, fantastic. A good old defender. Absolutely love that. So,
Yeah.
I have some fun. I love this question just because I've had a mixture of team answers and I've had a mixture of individuals. I'm gonna let you humble brag, Allie. What's your biggest accomplishment so far as a footballer?
Um, so yeah, I don't like to talk about myself too much. I've loved talking about the Cats and the footy club, but yeah, it would be being named captain. So um, I am going into my fourth year now as captain. Um, so yeah, when I became captain for sure was um, my most favorite memory. I haven't won a flag yet, so that is on the bucket list. I am striving to win one of those and come close a couple of times. And I was in my first year of footy, that was back in 2016. I played for Morpheville Park. They were my local club, and played every game. And we belted every team by like 60 plus points. It was ridiculous. And I had most of the Crows players now playing in my team at the time. We
Mhm.
were very strong because it was before the AFLW started. And yeah, we got through to the prelim final, and I did my knee in the first, I think it was first 3 minutes of the third quarter. And then my team went on to win the premiership. So I missed out on winning the premiership that year, but then also missed out on the first AFLW and SANFL season. Um, so yeah, that was pretty tough. But yeah, so hopefully I can go on to win a flag this year. That's the goal. But yeah, like that, the first year of the SANFL as well, and AFL, the Crows and Norwood both won the flag that first year. So and then the second year, which I was when I started playing for Norwood, we made the grand final that year and we lost by 3 points. And I'm not sure if you remember, Courtney Gum played for GWS.
Mhm.
She kicked an unbelievable goal in that game, and I don't think there's too many other players that could have kicked it because it was from the boundary, and she's just such a great player, and that was pretty. That still sticks with me. That does.
Yeah, those are tough ones, unfortunately. But the thing though is that you were part of something. I know you didn't get the premiership medal, but you got to say that you were part of it. You were part of a premiership. It's one of the things that, and maybe this is the American in me that frustrates me a little bit, is that there are players that are part of a premiership squad that don't play on the day and they don't get that satisfaction. It's the one thing that kind of gnaws me a little bit because you're not going to win a premiership with just the players that play on the field that day. You're going to win a premiership through the entire season. So there's the little, for me, I think more premiership medals. I know some people's like they're hard to win. Yes, I understand that. But as a team, your team won that premiership, not just the players that played on that day. So it's the one thing that kind of it does bug me a little bit as an American. And I know it's tradition. I understand that, but not all traditions need to stay. I honestly believe players on the list should all get a premiership medal because it took all of you to accomplish that, not just the people on the day. So now that
Yeah,
I'll
I'm
pull
a
back,
hundred.
go ahead.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you there. Like Max Holmes this year, missed out on the grand final with the Cats,
Mhm.
but he deserved a medal.
I
And
100%
yeah,
agree. You will not get any argument on that. So let's
yeah.
let's go to it. So we've done your accomplishment. Let's go into the Norwood rooms just really quickly. I want to get a little bit of an inside view here. Do you have a best mate at the club?
Yeah, it's a tough one. I've got like lots, but
Well, being the
if I had to
captain, you
pick
should,
one,
right?
yeah, if I exactly, if I had to pick one, it would be my longest at the club, and that's Cassie DeSumbris. I actually got to spend Christmas Day with her this year, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, she's been a great mate of mine since I've joined the club. So yeah.
Awesome, awesome. So we'll stay in the room. Can you describe to me the room, the kind of the group all as a whole? I mean, are you a happy-go-lucky group, a fun group? Kind of describe to me the Norwood room right now.
Yeah, I'd say, have you heard It's a Vibe?
Hmm.
That's our footy rooms. We love a bit of a dance and a good boogie before the game, just to get us all pumped up, get the music going, and have a bit of banter together. And then just like when we go out for dinner and that kind of thing, we just have such a great connection as a team, and it's something that from day one, like Steve Simon's, his thing was like when you walk through the doors at the Norwood Football Club, your family for life. Even when you move clubs, you're always welcome back with open arms, and it's something that we've even when he went on to coach Collingwood, it's something that we've tried to keep at the club, that we are a family, and just so welcoming to everybody. And yeah, I just love our group of girls, and the coaching staff this year as well. Like we're all just on the same page when it comes to that family and connections as well.
Fantastic. That's great. So let's go into it. I've asked this because it's a little bit different. So I'm very interested to see how it is, how it differentiates at the SANFL level compared to the AFL level. Kind of describe to me your typical day during the season, like say a training day.
Yeah, so essentially, like, do you mean like at training or before training?
Like kind of what's your day like? Are you a lot like the AFLW where you have to supplement your income because it's not, again, it's not full-time professional, unfortunately. Again, huge
Yeah.
advocate that it should be, but unfortunately you got to fight through some things, unfortunately. So kind
Yeah.
of what's your typical day? What's your kind of every other day job, and then how does that kind of affect training for you?
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, we're definitely all still working full time or studying, because we have a lot of young players as well. But um, yeah, so I work for Westpac Bank in financial crime and fraud prevention. So it's pretty full on all day, and I work as a business coach in learning and development. So um, yeah, it's you can have big days where mentally, at the end of the day, you're like pretty drained, but you just got to after that, just I have this thing where I'll meditate for at least, if I've got time, at least 10 minutes, um, just so I can switch off from work and then get prepare myself ready for training or a game. Like if I'm rushing from work to training, I'll make sure that when I get there, I just walk a lap so that I can switch off and just get my mind ready to focus on that training session and be present then and there. But yeah, it's all, I guess it's all about hydrating and eating for most of the day, and making sure I get up and walk about and not get stuck at my desk for the whole day.
Yeah, it makes 100% sense. And as you were telling me off, Mike, you guys are still technically playing in the summer, so you definitely got to make sure that you get plenty of hydration to be sure you don't have any issues there.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
we kind of already discussed it, but I want to hear it again. Is there a player that you model your game after, that you kind of say that this is why I play the way I do?
Yeah, I think first player that comes to mind is Corey Enright, and Tom Stewart now as well. But they're just both so similar, and I just I was a netballer before football, and always a defender as well. So that kind of intercept player is the way I like to play, and just that attacking run off the half back. So um, yeah, I think like I don't think I'm the speediest player, but the way I can read the play, and uh, like my education for the game, like I can normally get a step ahead of my player because I can read it quite well.
Awesome, awesome. Alrighty. And because you're in the SANFLW and you've played with some of the Crows players, I'm very interested to hear this. Who is the toughest opponent you've ever played against?
Oh, it's an easy one actually. So Anne Hatchard, who's obviously now at the Crows, um, I played with her at Morphettville Park, which is pretty cool. But also played against her when she was at South Adelaide, and then she went on to play for North Adelaide as well. But I played directly on her when she was at South Adelaide, and she's just so strong and powerful. And she's obviously gone to another level now, getting stronger and better in the AFL. But even back when she was playing for South Adelaide, she was just such a strong player. And you'd think you'd have her covered, and she'd just like push you and sprint off you and just find a way to every contest. So yeah, definitely Anne Hatchard.
That's nothing to sniff. That's nothing to sniff at to have her be your toughest opponent for definitely for
Yeah,
sure because that's
yeah.
she is absolutely terrorizing the AFLW at times. Her and Ebony
Oh, I know.
Marinoff are a scary duo at times. Sometimes I watch and
They
just in
certainly are.
awe at how good they both are at times.
Yeah,
And then the scary part is working them together. It's like I'm not envious of the coaches that have to try to plan for those two in the middle of the Crows.
absolutely.
So, all right. So I was taking a look at it. Can you describe to me a little bit your season last year? I did some research and saw last year. Unfortunately, you guys fell just short of making the finals at 6-6, which it's not shabby. It's not a bad season, but probably wasn't exactly where you ladies wanted to be. So, kind of your thoughts on last year, and do you have any goals going into next season?
Yeah, you're right. It's our first time not making the finals actually. So we were hopefully I think we're the only club not to do that. So um but yeah, it was a really tough season. I think upon reflection it's the youngest squad we've ever had. But even still, like we didn't quite live up to what we wanted to achieve last season. But but this year, like we're in um, full preseason now, and these young players that were in like either their first or second year last year, they've gone to another level this year, and it's really exciting. Just seeing them out there now and what um, the goals that they're achieving and the way they're playing in our internal trials that we've had so far, but even training as well. They're just ripping it up. So I'm really excited to see, um, how they're going to go this year. But we've actually got a new coaching staff. We got a new coaching staff this year. So new head coach Brad Snell, and then our assistant coaches. We've got a lot of new guys in, um, and just a great team. And what they've brought into the club, the biggest thing is the care for the players and just the connection between us has just gone a whole nother level this year. And the way they've done that, and it's been a slow build, but just even things. We've got a coach called Andrew Midiger, and he is like our well-being coach, and he's just given us so many tools that we can use off field and in our lives to be able to, really have gratitude and um, mindfulness. And it's you can see that connection as teammates, but also the coaching group. So I think um, I I don't want to underestimate how big of an impact is going to have on our group. And I think something that we did lack was that connection between each line. And I think that year is that's going to take us to another level this year.
It
I hope
sounds
that
like
made sense.
no, it makes total sense. I mean, and sometimes new eyes, new voice sometimes can change the way things go. So completely understandable there. So again, I love this question sometimes because success can be taken a couple of different ways. Do you think your season was a success last year, though you didn't make finals, you were still 6-6, so it's not like you had a losing season. Do you think you could consider last season a success, or were there still some things that you're kind of like, why?
um, I mean, I think, like I said, when you look at it in the way we had a really young team, um, that growth and experience that they gained, I look at that as a success because they're going to hopefully take their footy to another level this year because they've had that experience from last year. Um, Yeah, I guess the results, if you put it on paper, that I don't see that as a success, because we ultimate goal is obviously to make finals and win your premiership, and that's our goal this year. And I really do think that we can do that with the group that we have, and um, yeah, let's hope so.
Hey, the best thing is everybody's 0-0 when the first ball goes up at the start of the year, so anything is possible. So, and then to go off that, we'll go the other way a little bit. What do you think was the biggest challenge that you had last year,
um, for me personally,
or
I
the team, either
actually,
or?
yeah, for the team, like I said, I think it was just getting that connection between each line, but also um, that understanding of um, the way we wanted to play. I don't think we were all on the same page. Whereas comparing it to this season, um, Brad, our coach Brad Snell, he's put us in the best position possible with the way we're training, because everything that we're doing is all to do with how we want to play game sense wise. So, and then all the skills and skill development comes with that. But our trainings are really heavily based on like gameplay and the way we want to move the footy, and our shape around the footy as well. So I think, yeah, we're going to see a massive improvement in the way that we play, and we've already seen that in the internal trials that we've had. So I'm really excited to see how we go in our trial games coming up. We've got our first trial game against North Adelaide, who won the flag last year, so that'll be a really good contest. And then Glenelg is our second trial game, and they won the flag the year before. So it's going to be a really good test to see where we're at. And then round one, we come up against North Adelaide, who are the reigning premiers. So we'll know kind of where we're at even come round one. So yeah,
Trial by fire. Hey, sometimes when you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. So, definitely a
exactly.
good way to start. So, I love this question because personally, I think women's footy connects with their fans a lot better than the men's do. I've seen so many great stories of AFLW fans that have connected with players and with teams, and these really cool stories. So for me, I like asking this question: what's your best fan interaction that you've ever had?
Yeah, the one that sticks out for me would be a little girl called Della. She is mad about football, loves footy, and she came out. She was coming out to a lot of our games, and um, I've gone out, and I think I told you the story before about how I used to kick the footy after with my brother.
Hmm.
So I did that with her because it's like my memory from back when I was a kid, and I can remember that. So I've been out and had a few kicks of the footy with her, um, and just to see that next generation supporting our game is what I love. So yeah, she's awesome, and I actually broke my arm last year, and she bought me a present afterwards, and it was so lovely. Her and her mum, they like wrote me a card and everything like that. So it's just so nice, and I've just met her from being out and watching our games. So yeah,
That's fantastic, and the connection you have made her day, made her life with the stuff like that. So I applaud you for that. That's absolutely fantastic.
yeah.
So we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna have some fun now. I got some fun, interesting questions for you that I gotta ask. In fact, I have another one I'm gonna throw in here that I just thought about. So I'm gonna take you out of player mode, and I'm gonna put you as the list manager for Norwood's AFL for their W team. There's
Mm.
all of the other teams in the sample are open. What's one player that you'd like to go? I don't want to play them. I want them to join us. Who would that player be
Mm.
and why?
I'm sure you've heard the name. Her name's Shanae Goody.
Hmm?
So she won the under 18s MVP of the um, tournaments, championship, whatever it was. And she's just an unbelievable player. Like she can, I actually got to coach her, I think it was 2 years ago now, in the SANFL Futures All Stars program. And that was 2 years ago. She's only, what, 16, 17 now. So 2 years ago when I was watching it, I was like, this kid is unbelievable. She can read the play like better than anyone I've seen. And she's quite small but plays tall. She can take a really good mark. But she's just super clean, like super clean below the knees. She's tough and so skillful. And I think she could literally play anywhere on the ground. So yeah, she would be my number one draft pick for sure if we could have her at Norwood. She plays for the Eagles. But yeah, I think, there's no doubt she'll go on to play AFLW and kill it for whoever she ends up at.
Definitely keep an eye out on that. So already I gotta ask this. I'm gonna first name association here. So I'm gonna say some different names. I want you to tell me what player on your team, since you're the captain, I'm hoping that you really will love this. If you think about it,
Yeah,
who's your team mom?
go for it. That's an easy one. So Kate Fenton, she is a mum, but she's just the best. She is so incredibly caring, but also her voice out there. She's like got the loudest voice ever and just gets around everybody. And she's just awesome.
All right. Who's the funniest? Who's the one that's got the best jokes?
Shay Hiscock. Oh my goodness. Um uh she's just sorry this way, but she's a shithead. She causes trouble. Um but she just loves a bit of banter. And she loves to tell a joke to the whole team at the start and just gets around everybody, makes everyone laugh. So yeah, definitely the funniest.
Awesome. Who's the toughest?
I'm going to go back to back. Definitely Shay as well. You know, there's girls that avoid being tackled by her because yeah, she's just so tough. And I'm really excited to see what she's going to do this year. I think she'll get some midfield time, and just to have a player of her caliber, how tough and in and under she is. Yeah, they don't come as tough as her.
Awesome. Who is your social butterfly?
Social butterfly. I'd have to say me, um, but but probably another one would be Steph Simmons. She, gets around all the girls, all the kids, all the older players like me, and just everybody. And yeah, she gives everyone a laugh as well.
All right. Who's the most emotional?
Most emotional. Oh, that was a tough one. Can I say me again?
You can say I've had a couple people that do that a couple of times. So
Everyone's like, Ali, are you gonna cry again? I'm like, yes. It's so good.
there's
But
nothing
it's
wrong.
like a
There's
lot of the
nothing
time
wrong
it's
with being
happy
emotional.
tears. Yeah, it's happy tears a lot of the time.
All right. Well, at least they're happy tears. That's the good one. Who's
Yeah.
the quirkiest? Who's a unique unit out there?
Oh, it's you can't go past Ebony O'Day. So she is now at Port Adelaide, but she's a Norwood girl. And I think hopefully we'll have her back for a fair few games this year as well. But I'm not sure if you've heard about her quirkiness at all, but she
I've seen
is.
some things on one of the shows they did a preview on her for Port Adelaide, and she was a unique unit, I'll say that. So
Oh,
didn't mind it. I thought
absolutely.
it was really cool. So
Yeah, no, she's awesome, awesome girl, but yeah, definitely quirky. But
awesome.
she
And
loves it. She loves it.
hey, embrace yourself. I say embrace yourself. All right, who's
Yeah.
the best cook? Who's the person that you'd say if we had to make a team dinner, who's the person cooking the meal?
Oh, this could create a bit of a biffo, I reckon.
Uh-oh.
So there's two. So I have to say Rosette Zarella because she has cooked for me. And she's, just cooks up an absolute storm. And but then there's also Natalie Hadjikostas, so I call her Hadji. But she prides herself on being a chef, but she hasn't cooked for me yet. So I can't comment. Um, but yeah, she says she can cook a good Christmas feast for everybody. So yeah.
Fantastic. And I forgot one when I sent the questions. I forgot this. I love this one. Who's the one that's fashionably late?
Fashionably late. Oh gosh, it was always Tilly Van Riel. So she's not at Norwood anymore, but she was definitely the one that was fashionably late, um, but embraced it as well. Like another one that was like, yeah, you know what, I know, but that's me. And she was just so cruisy and casual all the time.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that as long as it's consistent. I had a player who I used to coach up here that if we wanted that player at noon, we needed to tell them 11:30 or earlier to get them there on time. So it always
Yeah,
happens. So not a
yeah.
problem. All right. So we'll go back and put your fan hat on for a little bit. As I've told many people, I have not been to Australia. It is on my bucket list to come see at least one game or two. I want to get to the SCG. I want to get to the MCG. I'm hoping I can hit all of them, but unfortunately, finances are still something I'm still working on. So I'm asking this to get some information. When you go to the footy, what's your go-to food?
Hot chippies. The hot chips, they're my go-to. I know a lot of people will say like a meat pie at a footy, you can't beat it, but um, I'm a hot chips girl.
Not ain't nothing wrong with that. I had a gentleman who I talked to was a St. Kilda fan who was vegan, so that was his go-to too. So that is
Yeah,
not the first
no.
time I have heard that. So when you go to the footy, where's your ideal place to sit to watch the footy?
I'm pretty lucky actually. So my husband, he's a mad Crows fan. And he's been a member since he was a kid. And um when we started going out, I got my membership as well just because I love watching footy. So I'd go to every game with him. I'm a Cats member too, so I'm Crows and Cats member, but go to every game with him. And our seats are right, what we call is Eddie Betts pocket. So we're
Hmm.
right up the front of Adelaide Oval. Very lucky, and we've been able to see Eddie Betts kick some unbelievable goals from the Eddie Betts pocket. So yeah, definitely there.
Awesome, awesome. All right, and my last question. This is so much fun because again, I always get different answers on this, and I think this is fun because you get to see the passion of the fan come out. What's your favorite game of footy you've ever seen? Men's, women's, doesn't matter. Favorite game of footy you've ever seen?
Yeah, so it's a really tough question because I would love to say the Geelong Premiership this year, which was unbelievable. But I wore this hat. So this hat is the Norwood Premiers hat from this year. I'm not sure if you've heard or seen about the game, but um, Matt Panos kicked the match winning goal. I think it was with like 3 or 4 minutes to go. The game was unbelievable, and I was with all the Norwood girls and my husband being a mad Norwood fan, and just seeing them um, win that game, but then also like knowing the boys as well and what that meant and how far they've come. It was really, really special, and also was able to celebrate with them afterwards. So definitely gonna remember that game forever.
Fantastic. That's amazing. I love that. So keeping the club love together, absolutely fantastic. So Ali,
Yeah.
that is going to do it for my questions. Again, I truly, truly appreciate you coming on again. I've had the luxury of talking with a few AFLW players, but having the chance to talk to a state league player and one that's a captain of her club and a very well-known club in South Australia, Norwood. So I truly appreciate you coming on to the show today.
No, thanks so much, Donnie. And like I said before, I really love what you do and promoting the women's AFL. So keep up the good work. Love it.
Well, thank you very much. And if you know anybody that loves women's footy or even just footy in general, please send them to the show. We're always looking for fans here. We're just myself and then my host who does our AFL shows, Ross. We love the game of footy. We're trying to help it grow not only here, but show some Australians that there are Americans over here that love this sport. In fact, most don't know there's actually 4 podcasts over here that are done by Americans that cover footy. There's a gentleman out of Ohio, Craig Wessels, the Yank on the Footy. Absolutely love his show. There's a young lady out of New York City that does the podcast AFL Obsessed. And then there's 2 brothers out of San Diego who do, I think their podcast is Americans Watching Footy. And we all kind of interact with each other all the time, but we love the sport. We love helping spread the sport, not only here, but then being able to share it with many Australians who have latched on to us and have really embraced us, and we truly appreciate it. So for
Oh,
you to
I
be able
love
to
that.
thank you for that, that's absolutely fantastic. And I tell anybody that watches this, check out my friends, like I said, Yank on the Footy, AFL Obsessed, and Americans Watching Footy. Those 3 podcasts are absolutely fantastic. I support them as much as they support me. So we definitely try to spread the love of footy because we absolutely love it over here. So ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for our episode. Again, keep an eye out on it. There are more off-season supporter series. I'm going to try to find some more AFLW players to chat with. If you know anybody and have any connections, please reach out to me on the socials. I'm always there, and we will be back again very, very soon.